So my dad used to do it. So hook 'em horns thing, you know. You're heartbreaking, Ash.
Huh?
You're heartbreaking. I'm going to give you a Washington University shirt.
That's okay, because Washington University's in St. Louis.
Oh, that's right. University of Washington. Yeah, that's a real school, isn't it? Washington University. Wash U.
You ready?
Sure, I'm ready.
The Wade and Carter Show is a paid programming, and KHMC Magic 95 assumes no responsibility for its content, and the Wade and Carter Show bears all responsibilities for their opinions and guests on their
Do us a favor.
Apple. Priorities to protect privacy. Are you one of them? Will you stop buying Chinese? Brother Gary stops by the studio. And Americans starting to skip payments. All that and more coming up in today's Wade and Carter Show.
Why would you quit buying Chinese? I mean, Szechuan. Does Newts count? That's Thai.
food.
Now, before we do this,
Doesn't count.
let's go over the ground rules.
YouTubers, tell folks to like, tell people to subscribe to our page. Help us out.
Hey.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good. You sound like Bill Cosby out there.
Despite all that, Fat Albert was still an awesome cartoon.
Hey, get out of my way.
Still an awesome cartoon.
It was a great cartoon.
I don't care what you think about Bill Cosby himself.
I agree.
The cartoon was awesome.
I agree. There's no dispute. There's no argument.
No.
I don't care what you say. OJ was a pretty good runner. You know, I mean, he's pretty good with that football in his
He was
hand.
pretty good with the football in his hand. Don't know if I like the guy to like the product.
We have never gone down this path, but
I didn't like Steve Jobs, but I liked his Apple phones.
Is it OJ that? Oh, the latest skinny, folks. For those of you, OJ, you know, is still looking for the killer.
Of course he is.
But you have to know.
But everybody's hiding behind a mask, so it makes it harder these days.
There are people who have expressed the plausibility that OJ's son actually killed Nicole.
Really? He was 12.
No. There was like a previous kid, where she was the stepmom.
I remember that.
I had read some stuff about it for real. That like it wasn't that OJ maybe kind of fell on the sword because he knew that his celebrity would bail him and to a degree. Interesting.
Very interesting.
But stupid.
Doesn't even matter, does it?
No, it doesn't. Victoria weather brought to you this morning by Wade and Carter. It is 77 degrees and quote unquote sunny in Victoria, heading to a high today of 91.
So a lot cooler than yesterday.
But it's going to be cloudy with a decent 40-50% chance of rain most of the afternoon. So for those of you on YouTube, that's just a typical day in South Texas.
Yeah, this
one
time
day
of year.
it's 98 degrees and brutal
Heat
sun
index.
with 40% humidity. The next day it's 90% humidity, 90 degrees and raining.
I mean, we had a heat indice warning yesterday. I don't recall that ever this late or this early in the summer.
It's global warming, man.
Must be.
I looked out the other day, a chunk of an iceberg went down the street. Started at one end about the size of the Eiffel Tower, and it was melted by the time it got to the end of the cul-de-sac.
By the time I got to the end of the cul-de-sac, gone.
And completely evaporated.
We want to show this girl and
oh yeah, in all her glory.
Yeah.
Folks, this is why when you go
it was probably better actually if you were
watching
the show, but
when you go to the beach,
don't be this person.
And you're overserved, don't see out the TV camera.
Yeah.
Listen to this lady.
All right, let's get this out. Let's do this. Yeah, they have a go topless Jeep weekend in Galveston, and
actually a pretty good idea.
This Chelsea girl was Lots of fun apparently.
I think she was.
Yeah, they have a go topless Jeep weekend in Galveston, and
I'm
actually
working
this
on
Chelsea,
it.
She was in the
Chelsea
bag.
girl
There
was
we go.
They can't hear us on this.
lots
Yeah,
of
I'm
fun
getting there.
apparently. Hold on.
Anyway,
Yeah.
this Chelsea girl was probably a little bit up in the cups.
She's a little bit overserved.
Who we got in this morning? Anybody?
Oh
checking in?
yeah, let's see.
Good, Matt Boucher.
She's going viral though.
Oh, of course she'll go viral. Yeah, she's probably
Scott-
spreading a virus.
Scott Tomko, David Rice, Bobby Leister,
Judge Posey.
Posey, Marvin Mickish, Lisa Poole, still holding steady at 56 subscribers. We like a little more positivity, Bobby. We haven't hit a wall.
Hey, it was 52 earlier in the week.
It's a lull.
When you were in Russia,
We're just not testing as much
was it
today.
Mikush in Russia when you were there? Or was it always been Mikish?
No, I think that's Czech.
Is it?
Yeah, I didn't invade Czechoslovakia.
Bohemian?
I didn't invade
Make some,
Czechoslovakia.
make some sausage, Gus Doggy.
Steve Kidder, good morning to you. Asked if he's the first caller. No, we've already had the first
We already
caller.
had
The
the first
Spanish
caller.
grandma called in. Wanted to wish a happy
That's
birthday to
exactly how she described
daughter,
herself.
Aaliyah Pena. So there
Aaliyah
you go. Happy
Pena from
birthday.
her Spanish grandmother.
I said, not the German grandmother. She laughed. No.
No, Spanish.
Spanish grandma. So there's the Iceman checking in. Rena Scherer, good morning. David Glass, Sheriff Louderback, Chris Conrad.
I missed Rena at her office yesterday. I went back
Did you?
and got another license renewed. I paid the light bill down there this week. Not for the month, just for the week.
Just for the week.
Yeah.
Bob Constantine, Patrick Strauss, Bobcat Watley. Good morning. Scott Snow. Who else is in?
I did yesterday.
HR Mallory.
As I was walking into the building, like my shades fogged up because it was, 95 degrees,
Yeah.
probably 120 on that asphalt. And then I walked into the building, and it was like 47, maybe 48 in there. And I
Nice.
said, man, your tax dollars at work, I mean, they're cooling that thing down like it was brought to you, a tax assessor brought to you by Yeti. There's some other offices in that building, district attorney, folks like that.
They probably have their own
They
thermostat.
must like it cold up there. It was tough.
What's the problem when you're on the main floor? All that old building that old
The
is
heat
going to be
rises,
drafty,
sure.
right? Heat
And I like
rises,
it.
cold air falls.
I liked it. I told somebody, that's your tax dollars at work right there, baby. Enjoy the AC. Come on in the house.
BJ Nelson, Jeremy Pena, Adam Daughtry, Monica Jost,
What a great group
Matt
of folks.
O'Shea, good crew checking in this morning. Christina Wise, good morning. Larry Leahy, Ryan Lott, Jim Hartman,
Good morning, Jim. Great day yesterday.
Mike Bloschke. Let's see who else is in real quick.
Switalski says you can hang meat in there.
You
He's
certainly
right.
could.
Where's the T-Lap?
Ryan Hopping, good morning.
There
Johnny
she
Houghton,
is.
there's Don Nicole,
Hello,
Andy Ria
sweetheart.
Jr., Billy Imes. That's a good crew. Sherry Lynch.
That
My
is
beautiful wife Cheryl isn't in yet, but
it's a good group.
Could've
BJ
started
Nelson
with-
says she likes my hat. You like my hat?
I like your hat. It's a nice hat. I've got one of those
You
too.
do have one.
But I figured I'd do my hair today.
You did, huh?
Yeah,
You did your hair.
I did my hair.
All right.
Paul Ebner, good morning.
It's a
And
new,
one of those nights we couldn't sleep.
it's a new hairdo called the Give Up.
Yeah, pretty much is. It's at that point where it's too short to do anything with, but too long to do what I normally do with it.
But back in college, you let your hair get a little bit longer.
Oh, a lot
Does it
longer.
still feel short to you now, even though, like, you're like, oh, I need a haircut? But
No, this is long. This is long. But it's going.
I'm trying to picture you in a serious conversation at your day job. Although in academia, I mean, you still one of the more conservative looking folks. You could have like a little Van Dyke, like a little pointed.
Yeah, the beard's not so bad. It
No.
hasn't gotten crazy.
No.
The top of the head's a little.
It doesn't look bad.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm seriously. His hair's always on point, folks.
Literally pointy,
Yeah, it's good.
but we'll see what. I vowed not to cut it until the NHL season returns.
Yeah, this isn't just some random
No.
lack. I mean, he didn't just give up on his looks.
No, this is a social
A
protest.
well thought out protest.
Exactly.
You know,
Hey, BJ Nelson says you can buy a white trash service hat.
There you go. Swag,
Bucky
swag. What is up with
Except nobody stops by for beef jerky and
but I've always thought it was weird
beaver
unless you're
nuggets.
just on vacation, unless you just needed a shirt because of an emergency situation. I've always thought that it was weird to buy a t-shirt promoting a convenience store. I mean, I get it if you want to wear a Nike t-shirt, if you want to wear an Adidas t-shirt.
Yeah, but it's kind of
Bucky's.
it's kind of
The Beaver.
it's kind of Texarkana, right?
T-Line has a pair of, they're not exactly capri, but they're not, well, maybe they are full length. She's kind of short. But the material, I had to buy them. They're like sweatpants.
They were shorts for you.
They were capris for a normal person. No, but I bought her these. They're gray and they had that weathered look, but
Yeah.
the material was like, I need to feel her in those. So that's how I got lured into buying those at a Bucky's.
It's like a Matt Boucher likes my T-shirt. There's a story behind this one.
Yeah, I walked in, was immediately, actually I was oblivious. But then when
You were.
when you pointed it out, do you see anything different about me today? I was highly offended. Highly offended. I took
And
it
you
as
still are.
a personal affront.
Yeah, I know you.
And I was offended for other people who might be offended. You know what I mean? Like
Brent Anderson.
yeah, like Brent could be offended. So I'm exponentially offended
Yeah.
on other people's behalf. I'm feeling like a Democrat.
Well, my daughter Ashton was in a UIL competition in elementary school at Texas A&M, and of course we go out to eat. And
She's also what, 22 years old now?
now, yeah. But this is a good
She's
T-shirt.
an old
Yeah,
t-shirt.
I'm two things I collect:
Vintage.
hats and T-shirts. And
And
if I find a
dogs.
good one,
And
well,
dogs.
but if I find a good T-shirt, I've got them. Warren Bingham checking in. Old buddy from
Vintage.
Washington State, reconnected recently, and it was like we never, like 20 years hadn't gone by.
Hey, Warren, you
Crazy.
go to special ed with somebody, you stay close forever,
Oh, I see how it is. Wear this T-shirt, and now I'll use special.
Steve
ed.
Kenner says you wear a Bucky shirt ironically. There's no other way to wear it. I mean, he agrees with me. Steve, can you imagine walking in? What do you want? 12-pack and a T-shirt.
Yeah.
I mean, he does that.
But that's how I ended up with this T-shirt. We went to lunch, and of course, I wore lunch all over the shirt.
What
I
did
was
you
wearing.
eat?
It had to be something probably tomato based, and I've finally learned I don't eat tomato based. And I was wearing a light colored shirt. I should have. I mean, in college, I had a spaghetti wearing shirt. When I was eating
Sure.
spaghetti, I wore that shirt all
Because
the
it's
time.
going to have
It-
stains all
it-
over the
well,
table.
it hid the spaghetti.
Oh, okay. Like it had paisleys on it.
It did have paisleys on it.
Yeah.
Exactly what it had on it.
Yeah.
Red and blue paisley shirt.
You can do
It
that.
was actually a pajama shirt. I only wore it at home when I ate spaghetti.
Nice.
But yeah. So
Why is it? Are you greedy, folks? Are you greedy if you have a hot dog? And how many of you have eaten a hot dog where stuff didn't go out the other end onto your plate or your lap? Is it greed that makes us put more relish and more mustard on there, more chili than the hot dog will hold?
no, you know what? The chili maybe, but I think it's the inability of the people because the squeeze bottles are so weird.
Even
Even
an
a full
Astros
one.
game.
Yeah, you can't just give you a little squeeze of anything
No,
on a hot dog, and I think that's the problem.
it's like Dr. Pimple
Yeah.
Popper. It just goes all over your
It
food.
does, and even like the old bottles, you'd sat there tapping the side,
Yes,
and you didn't get just a little bit of it would all come at once,
Yes.
right? That's the problem with that.
100%. And I've had it all
Yeah.
over me for years. I really got
I
frustrated.
feel all soft.
Those are nice
It is
piece
a nice
goods. In the
t-shirt.
words of Melvin Dusick, those are some nice piece goods right there. Oh, we got you a pretty shirt. That's a pretty shirt. So I bought some like Pepperidge Farms. I went snob appeal on some hot dog buns. I did, you get home, they're hot dog buns. You take them out, throw them out on the tray. Did not notice that they were split on top, which makes sense. The side split, if you split it on top, then you can hold, it's like a perfectly good eclair. It's still on the doily. Are you getting that reference to?
Yeah, I did. I got that.
To
I
Seinfeld?
never quite thought of that.
Yeah, but I mean, you open the top and you put the product is.
Which is
and then-
precisely why I never used to like Subway sandwiches, because they cut that V out of it and it
right. No, I'm with you.
bothered me. It was never as good.
Now they have that little.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing those kids don't whack off a finger because you know that knife is sharp. They're getting after it. I didn't charge you for that special sauce of O positive.
Matt Boucher says condiments kill the taste
Well,
of a
you're
hot
right.
dog.
And you know, there's
In
now
some cases.
you've got what's the contest? The contest place is called.
Nathan's hot dogs.
You got Nathan's hot dogs,
Nathan's hot dogs are really good.
and you have Hebrew National.
Yeah.
And Hebrew National, the Jewish hot dog.
They're kosher. I
Gotta get rid of this dry,
rediscovered-
hacking cough
great.
and fever.
Move over 6 feet, would you?
Right. What is up? Oh,
I rediscovered the Earl Campbell Red Hot. They're pretty good.
yeah. But Earl's sausage is always a little greasy, but if it's good grease,
Yeah.
it's a
And
condiment.
they do have a little kick. They got some heat to them, which is good, because you can buy some Red Hots. They're just red. They got no heat to them.
Yeah, you want some with some heat to it, call Allen's Wrecker Service. He'll get out there in a hurry. Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. When the heat is on, you call Allen. He'll be there for you. 578-6300. He'll secure the scene. He'll make sure you're safe first. Then he'll get your vehicle where it needs to go. Everything from a Yugo to an 18-wheeler, Allen's Wrecker Service, 578-6300. The VCS companies, Rocket Oilfield Services, and the locally owned AT&T retailer
The
are
only locally owned and operated.
all
AT&T
celebrating
retailer.
today as little Ryan Hartman beating leukemia.
Good for
He's
him.
beating pre-T-cell leukemia in Houston. Got to go home to his Houston home.
Awesome.
Still isolated, while taking precautions, especially in this current environment.
Yep.
But little Ryan, not little Ryan,
No,
he's a
not at all.
16-year-old young
Yeah.
man, composes himself very well, doing a great job in his battle with leukemia. So hats off and congratulations to the Hartman family. They appreciate all of your thoughts and prayers, especially the prayers. SCT Building Systems, Clayton and Casey Help, 564-8864. Reach out to Clayton.
Yeah, you need anything from a small building, a shed, to a brand new house. Commercial, they can do it all.
Yeah,
And they
steel
will.
buildings, red iron and purlin, we call it. You know, that from a clad building, you want a veneer around the bottom, you want a barn dominium, a she shed, a storage building, a barn. They do it all. Anything you want built that needs a frame, you owe it to yourself to dial 564-8864. And then once it's done, furnish it from Chestnut Furniture Company, 116 West Juan Lynn. That's just west of Maine on Juan Lynn, at the corner of Juan Lynn and Bridge.
I think I told you the other day, one of our listeners reached out to me and said, hey, hadn't tuned in for a few days. I want to make sure, is Chesnick still sponsoring the show? I said, yeah. He goes, good. We want to support your sponsors. We're going to go buy a new sofa. We're going to go to Chesnick.
And that's a fantastic mentality. In return for that, Chesnick's giving you 50% off on furniture to celebrate their 100th anniversary. 70 years in their current location, and it's not like going back in time because the furniture is all state of the art.
Yeah.
The building is just cool. If you go in and go back to the back of where the bedding is, and
Yeah.
they have Tempur-Pedic bedding too. If you get up in there, it's all exposed brick. I mean, it's awesome,
Old wood floors, pretty cool stuff.
beautiful.
Peter McNally checking in. There's
Everything's
people
old there
Yep.
except Bobby Leon. He's the grandson running the business.
Honestly, him and his wife Charla haven't aged as long as I've been in
No,
Victoria. I've been here almost 24 years now, and they still look exactly like when I met them. They haven't aged. So
now what is
There's Jeremy
James
Levitt
Curtis
checking
is-
in.
Is now a hot
We
dog expert.
we got 3 Cougs on the show. Warren Bingham checked in. Jeremy Levitt, me. We're taking over slowly.
They're all just as disgusted with your. The great thing about being from Washington State University, they don't even know who Texas A&M is. No clue. 1939 world champs fighting
True.
Texas Aggies.
True story though. UH stole the mascot from Washington State.
Is that right? The coup?
Coach football, coach or AD ended up down there and liked the mascot and said, "Well, we're the Cougars now."
You know, I see Peter McNally checked in. I like that because, first of all, he's smarter than me. Okay, first of all. But second of all, he doesn't always agree with everything we say. And at the same time, he still checks in. We appreciate that, sir. I mean that.
Ashley Strevel, good morning. Let's see, who else is in?
I got something for you.
That's it.
I brought some
I
content.
was going to read what James Kerr said about the Hebrew National.
What did he say?
He said they're the bomb.
The bomb.
Yeah, nobody says that anymore, James.
Yeah, he's kind of a cheerleader.
He says he believes Nathans are also considered kosher. He had a red hot in Hawaii and had to find a bathroom.
Too much information.
He said bathrooms are a rare find on the North Shore.
What was
Well,
that?
you got a big ocean there. What do you need a bathroom for?
James was really funny the other day. A guy said something about, and James will clarify, one of his buddies, one of his military buddies, and it was on Facebook. And it was something like, oh, I know what it was. This guy had put on Facebook, he goes, I don't know with this COVID deal if I should lick the Dorito dust off my fingers anymore. And one of James's buddies put on there, I would lick your Dorito dust. And he goes, yeah, I know what I said. And James put underneath there, are you sure you're not a Navy man? Are you sure you're not a sailor? I thought that was very funny. It was like, I get it. I get that humor. So I brought some content. I heard it on the radio.
All right.
Radio. Radio is making a comeback, folks. Today, this morning, globally, the 5 millionth case of COVID was reported. 5 million. I don't know how they did that. Come on, folks. Work with me. 5 millionth case reported. I found it interesting. They said that 1.5 million of those 5 million, 30%, have been in the United States. This is quickly turning into America's plague. And I'm just not buying it.
They are the only superpower.
I'm just not buying it, though, Ash. First of all, I wouldn't be surprised. Remember, a couple of weeks ago, we reported that 2.1 million cell phone numbers had been released in China. And the only way you lose your cell phone there is to pass away.
To die, yeah.
So it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder what the real numbers are in a country of well over 1 billion people.
Yeah, I don't believe any of the numbers coming out of China, so I can't imagine we're number one in the COVID medal count. Probably number two, to be honest.
I would think 200 million would be a lot of deaths. I mean, that's a significant percentage of the country, but.
Or no, we're all going to die.
Yeah. Jeremy Pena says, how about Bexar County extended the mandatory masks until June 3rd now? I still don't understand people driving around in a car by themselves with their mask on.
No, I saw a courtesy vehicle and the driver had a mask on, and I can understand that. And it's still, I don't believe the masks really do anything, to be honest, especially the mask we're wearing.
Yeah.
Because it says right on there the particles, whatever. But I understand that from a customer. I guess customer ease of mind perspective, but and you can't keep your 6 feet in a car when somebody's sitting beside you. But
are you wearing the mask?
No.
So if you're not sick, are you wearing the mask to keep other people from breathing on you? Or are you wearing the mask to keep as a courtesy?
That's the debate, right?
I'm keeping myself from breathing on you.
But here's what I don't understand. If the mask can't act, if a cloth mask can't prevent particles from coming in, well, but they prevent. If you speak moistly,
right?
If you sneeze, if they can come in, they're going out.
Right? If a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there to hear it, is the man still wrong? I don't know.
Yeah.
You just have one of those.
And I feel
particulate. I was like, how many chucks could a woodchuck chuck? That's what that sounded like.
I feel really bad for Warren and Jeremy up in Washington State, where you got fascist dictator Jay Inslee just absolutely running amok up there. But
AMOK,
yeah, there you go.
meaning with reckless abandon.
Might not be so reckless, but whatever. He's
amok. That's a great word, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think that's an English word. That's got to be a derivative of somewhere. Amok.
I'm not going to look it up, but I wanted to pass this along. Because Apple's been bugging me to update to their new operating system, and I usually wait a while because the bugs are worse than the cure, right? What'd you find out? What's the origin? No origin?
Amuck. It's an adverb.
Okay.
Means that it modifies a verb, telling how you do something. Running amok.
Yeah.
Behave uncontrollably and disruptively.
That would be Governor Jay Inslee.
I just thought of my 2 youngsters at home. Behave uncontrollably and disruptively.
They've been homeschooled.
It's so bad, folks. That the little ones are such politicians. I'll go home, like Rylan will get in trouble for something and finally get sent to bed. He's just worn out, and you're tired of beating on him. So the CPS just has a tent in my front yard. So you send him to bed, and the next morning, like I'll go home today at 8. We get home about 8:30, and he's already up because he's up. And he'll come downstairs. I love you, Dad.
He can't sleep.
I sure love you.
What do you do?
I just got to give him a hug. It's like every day's a new day. He's like a duck. Every day starts over new. Now,
you might have to hit that little down arrow that you can't see with your failing eyesight at your age.
Kidding. Is there a way to make this? I need a bigger phone.
You need an iPad.
Can you find a root word? I mean, I'm just looking. Stone throwing anarchist running amok.
Here, let me see this. Translations and more definitions. Maybe it's there.
Maybe it could be.
Portuguese. Malay.
Oh, it's from,
there you go.
It's from Malay.
There you
go. Amok.
But anyway, so Apple keeps bugging me for to update my phone, and I probably need to update my phone actually, but because it's still the iPhone 6. What the heck am I doing with that? But then you go and look at what they want you to do, right? Speeding up access to passcode field on devices with Face ID when you're wearing a face mask. Introduces the Exposure Notification API to support COVID-19 contact tracing apps from public health authorities. Also does some stuff for group FaceTime calls and other bug fixes and other improvements.
So you can start getting like tickets in the mail because you had too much proximity to other people.
Maybe so. And here's the interesting thing. The first thing that came to mind.
Leave your phone at home.
Because the FBI just made an announcement, I think it was either Monday or Friday, that they actually cracked a phone of a suspected terrorist because they got no cooperation from Apple in doing so. So Apple would rather protect the privacy of terrorists and criminals than people who are doing nothing but going about their lives lawfully. And somebody says, oh, I might have been in contact with so-and-so.
Let's go look at the chart.
That's what it boils down to, folks. Apple would rather protect the privacy of criminals and terrorists than you.
Then you're going to have to respond to the coronavirus task force in your area.
Yep.
They'll probably be wearing gray. They'll have like a little red sleeve on their arm.
And they're not the only ones. These apps are being developed for all the operating platforms across all the phones. But I have an Apple, and then this story the other day of them not working with the FBI against a terrorist. Oh, we're not gonna give you the code to his phone.
Yes.
And he's dead. He can't talk.
Well, Warren Bingham says, hey, it's proof there is an agenda other than human health. It's the election. They're still talking about, the Democrats now are talking again about, well, if we can find, we need to see the secret information from the Mueller report, so that we can determine if there are other reasons to impeach the president. These people are completely boneheaded. It's over, Dems.
There was an article on Judge Sullivan shutting down AG Barr's some motion yesterday, and in there stated that the fact that the CIA unmasked people all the time. And what's interesting is I was listening to an interview with a former CIA fairly high-ranking official, not just your agent on the ground, and he said the exact opposite. We don't unmask people as a part of our regular doing of business. He said at one time he can recall having to unmask one name in a report. That was it. And he'd been there 15 years.
Yeah. Because secrecy and that is your weapon in the intelligence
But
world.
CNN in their little article says, the fact is unmasking happens all the time. No, it really doesn't. And you had 50 some odd people request to unmask General Flynn's name when it was redacted in a bunch of government reports and such. So, yeah.
Randy Langston says that the Israelis have been able to crack Apple for a long time, and that's who the U.S. actually bought the technology from.
Did not know that.
Yep.
But there you go. Apple would rather protect those of criminals and terrorists than law-abiding citizens who just try to congregate and hang out with people.
What did your Washington State University comrade say there? What did he say there? It's an epistle.
He says the reason why this presidency has faced 1,000-fold more opposition than any previous administration in the history of this country.
True.
Is because this is the only such administration that was fairly elected by the people and not the Rothschild elite cabal network. And so they're about to lose it after 250 plus years.
Yeah. You do have to understand that the people that run the world, do not kid yourself that Barack Obama made Barack Obama's decisions. He did not. They were all in line to have their longtime puppet, Hillary Clinton, sitting in the White House to just do whatever they force-fed her to do.
And I'm gonna tattle on Warren a little bit.
Political science major?
No.
Dropout?
No, not at all. Brilliant businessman, is very, very successful.
Send us money. We have a pay button on YouTube.
But here's a guy that basically is part of the walkaway campaign.
Used to be a Dem. I didn't even know he was black.
Voted for Obama.
Didn't even know he was black.
And it's fine. And I'm not saying I finally see the light, but he realized
it's the lesser of two evils. How about that?
Yeah.
The lesser of two evils.
He's kind of seen it.
When the American people actually went and voted, which, by the way, folks, this could either give you hope or really give you anxiety. If either party turned out an additional 10% of their voters, they win the election.
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot.
It doesn't
because
take
our
much.
voter turnout for the most part
is very low. What? Very low.
60% last presidential election, somewhere around there.
Which, by the way, the Republicans, you hear that story where the joy of winning, you're a champion when the joy of winning is dominated by the disdain for losing. The Republicans are going to vote because they are afraid of the alternative. The Democrats, I'll get around. That's why they want mail-in ballots, so all the lazy Democrats can mail it in. It'll have free postage paid for by the United States. Just check Joe Biden. It'll be Joe Biden in like 2-inch letters, and then at the bottom it'll say the other guy, DJT. Which one do you want?
Biden stamp.
And Biden's in red, white, and blue. Trump will be like in just black.
Yeah, with a swastika on either side of his name instead of quotes.
That guy. Yeah. Vote for that guy. Or Joe Biden. Yeah. Yeah, it's coming. Yeah. But Americans are going to vote in record numbers in this election, and Trump will win. And it's the biggest election ever. It's super duper election, and I've won again. I told you, all you fake news people, CNN, take that. Your ratings sunk. New York Post, you're done. You people are terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. Very, very bad.
Warren Bingham says if we don't win this next election, we lose the country for good, and humanity will decline until the next reset. I think
there's no doubt about it.
I think what you'll see, it may not happen immediately.
Anarchy.
Well, that could be part of it, honestly. But I think you will see states. I think you'll see stars come off the flag of the United States of America. I think you'll see some reversal, and states will.
And you know what? I'm
try to leave.
How exciting would that be? And I mean that. How exciting would that be in the evolution of the world? By the way, for the United States to be a leader in freedom and say, we don't have to do what the Croats had to go through. We don't have to do what the Ukrainians had to go through. If the state of Texas wants to leave the country, goodbye. You know, we've got our own electronic grid. We don't need the United States for fuel, for food. We don't need the United States. The state of Texas could absolutely stand alone and have an economy bigger than that of Australia. True story. The United States would suffer more from Texas seceding than Texas would. No doubt about it.
No doubt about it.
I'd love to see it. I mean, I'm being sincere. What a great thrill in my lifetime to see the state of the Republic of Texas reborn. I'm not saying we've got to be right-wingers, but we could make our own rules and say, hey, California, you want to come here?
Immigrate legally.
You immigrate legally from California. Don't just come here. The state of Texas could cut their own NAFTA deal with Mexico. Can you imagine?
We'll have you, Warren. You can come.
Can you imagine what we could build made in Texas from our coalition with Mexico? I think it would be unbelievably cool. Now, I'm not calling for secession. I'm not afraid to. There's no reason not to. I'm just saying, how cool would it be? Where are you from? Texas. That's where I'm from. I'm a Texan. I like it. I tell people all the time, I'm an American first, and then I'm a Texan. I'd love to say I'm a Texan, and I'm a Texan.
Yeah, a lot of Texans are flip that some ways.
That'd be awesome.
Well, you know, Warren has a point, though. Unfortunately, the only way to win this is we got to be together in this.
I agree 100%.
And honestly, I mean, it would sadden me. I became an American citizen. I love the opportunity this country provided for me and my family. It didn't exist in Canada. I've been honest about this.
Imagine if you'd moved to Vermont. And I'm not being silly. Cheryl had a great, nursing gig in Vermont. And like Bunny Thunders is your guy.
We were getting out of the snow. There was that.
Well, that's true.
But we could have easily ended up in Arizona, Oregon. California never had no real appeal.
Putin wanted you here.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think that's good. What does it say down below there? Yeah, we could look crawfish.
Well, Jerry Pena says we got to bring Mississippi and Louisiana with us, and I don't know.
Yeah,
we could have the Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi trade agreement.
Well, one thing we have Veracruz.
We
have Veracruz to go, Veracruz curbside, Veracruz all night long. Reach out to Veracruz today, folks. Today's Thursday. Order an enchilada casserole. Pick it up tomorrow. Eat it all weekend. Somebody say something funny over there?
Frank Mejia goes, I'm a Texan. Go Yankees.
Yeah, Frank. Frank, you're not welcome. You got to go back. By the way, you have to be over 5'5" to stay in the state of Texas.
Must be this tall a ride.
We're going to start some new. We're going to create some new people. No genocide. We're not going to kill anybody, but we're going to, from now on, you and you pair up. Y'all are dating now. We need some height in this state. But you're welcome, Frank. We'd love to have you. What is it? Unfortunately, Austin doesn't quite fit with a lot of the core values. No. I think we need to move the state capital, the nation's capital, the republic's capital should be somewhere like. We'll get back to you on that. Well, what we'll do is we'll put it out in West Texas, and then that whole area will be developed. And then all the lobbyists will go out there by the Superfund side or something.
There you go.
Veracruz, folks. Enchiladas, amazing queso, creamy guacamole. They've got a secret for it. It's not by accident. It's Ida's finger. No, really. The guacamole is amazing. The hot sauce is perfect.
Yeah.
The chips are crispy. Everything is fantastic. Veracruz is your home. Razor IT Solutions. He just does things you don't understand. And what you don't understand can hurt your business.
And he understands.
Absolutely. You need to build a brand. You need to be able to collect money on your webpage. You need to have that webpage communicate with your QuickBooks and your accounting software. You need to have a kind of a common theme between your Facebook presence and your interweb presence. JP Hull, Razor IT Solutions.
He can do it.
That's your guy.
Adsnuffer dealerships. Since 1926, Adsnuffer has been here selling you the vehicles that you need. for the lifestyle that you choose to live.
AdsAndOffer.com.
You can do it there too.
Chevy, Cadillac, Mazda, Mitsubishi, all makes and models of service. I went by yesterday, 8 minutes. Inspection, $7. $7. They lost about $10 doing it, but they do it. They do it
because they're forced to.
That's what the state allows. Get by there and see them. White Trash Services, BJ Nelson, 550-1826. Let me tell you, we're going to get Ms. Nelson to come in and talk to us. The judge yesterday mentioned the purchasing power of all the precincts, and I don't believe that all of our, and he didn't say they did, but I don't believe that all of our precincts use White Trash Services. I don't believe that's the case. And if it's not, why not? Because I guarantee you BJ Nelson would give the county a volume discount. Why not?
That would be a good.
It would make sense.
Yeah,
it's a good conversation to have with Ms.
Certainly,
Nelson.
yeah.
We'll get her on in the near future.
Well, that's probably one you would have to bid out.
Yeah,
It
but
might not just be 3 quotes. You might have to actually bid that one, but it would be worth it, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. 550-1826. Your next project, you need a dumpster out at your property. You're clearing something.
Weekly trash collection, they can do it all.
There you have it.
And they do it with a smile on their face, and when they leave, they'll tell you, have a trash-tastic day.
And when you call, you get a person.
You do.
You don't get a press one now.
Never.
Exactly.
No, this is a great thing.
Yep. What did I saw Zach Smith checked in? Did he add anything besides it's a great day?
Yeah, he said jobless claims came in a little bit higher than what they were estimating, 2.44 million. So what does that take us to? Almost 39 million people on unemployment now.
Yeah, and you got to wonder, and I'm being sincere. I understand it's not fair to look back. You got people saying with the same veracity that Donald Trump has totally mismanaged this crisis. Had he started earlier, people wouldn't have died. Okay. Then you got people.
But they never ever say, had he started earlier, nobody would have lost their jobs, right? Because that doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does to those 39 million people.
Yeah,
that's more than everybody in the state of Texas is unemployed.
But to the left, the deaths and the economy are mutually exclusive, and you can't protect one because then you'll kill more people.
Well, and exactly. And as you heard Congressman Michael Cloud say the other day, there is a confirmed direct correlation between the economy, people being employed, and death. People that lose their jobs, lose their benefits, lose different things, and the next thing you know, they die. And the idea, the folly that, well, if we had free health care, that would solve the problem is just that. It's folly.
No,
it's about your mental status. That's why you see us put the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. It's not a hotline, it's a lifeline on our screen every morning. I'm looking forward to the day we can take that back off. Because I'm sure that listening to us probably at times drives people to consider suicide. So we put that number on there.
Saw a story this morning, Americans starting to skip payments on car loans, mortgages. And I have heard, and I don't know if they're skipping them, but I have heard that if people will call their mortgage providers, if people will call whoever's got their car note, their auto lender, they've been willing to work with folks. I haven't heard of any companies, and there might be some out there, don't get me wrong, but I have not heard of them. The feedback I'm seeing on social media, some of the stories I'm reading in the media about this, these companies are willing to work with you.
Yeah.
They're going to tack it on the back end.
That's not a bad deal. Let the interest accrue. And
or the other thing they're doing, well, hey, we'll charge you the interest.
That's not
if that makes a difference. Depending on where you are in your payments cycle, right? And along the way, it might be not much more or not much of a savings compared to, but they've been willing to work with people from what I understand. And I've got a friend in the mortgage business and they're working with people. So
this Warren Bingham gets it. He says that chaos is part of the agenda.
Well, Warren's a sharp guy. You want to go back up? There's J-Dub.
Bobby Sparkman says that Michael Cloud gets it for sure. And I agree. I do agree with that. What was Houston called? James Kurth?
Yeah, James Kurth had a trivia question.
Houston. He said there's a trivia question. What was the name of Houston before it was called Houston? It was something Bayou, wasn't it? I don't know, but I don't know. He'll put it on there.
Yeah, he should. Yeah, because they don't want your house or your cars back.
Exactly.
Yeah. Warren Bingham says not paying on purpose adds to the chaos they want. They want anarchy. It's easier to take over.
I listened to a guy the other day was talking about how that since our economy, and I think everybody agrees, and when you say that you can inject 5 point something trillion into our economy and then try to claim that somehow our economy is for real, our economy is propped up with fake money. And that's okay. It was booming.
So was everybody's.
Right. It was booming, yes. But the gist of what I heard was that the powers that be, they knew that this house of cards was about to tumble, and nothing solves the riddle like a pandemic.
Zach Smith says the payments are out of the back end of the note in most circumstances. Most companies nationwide have been required per the Treasury to offer deferred payments. There were some that got ahead of this and started working with homeowners and borrowers. Caleb Shaw checks in.
Borrowers. Is that like a mole? A borrower?
That would be, yes.
A boot. Let's talk about that. Just have to throw it every now and then. He has like a little Canadian. You were thinking about that backhand, weren't you?
I was.
Little Canadian thing that comes.
That only works in movies.
Right. Oh, it hurts your hand.
I mean, think about it.
God didn't want you to use
those. This
metatarsals.
That only works.
Do it again.
Because then I use your momentum of coming forward to help.
Doesn't happen. You hit these abs of steel, I ain't going nowhere. You're gonna break your elbow.
But there's only two places that move ever works: movies and wrestling.
Right. Well, yeah.
WWE version type
those
wrestling.
guys are so strong.
Yeah, they're the backs of their hands. They have no bone. They're still plates.
Wait,
there now.
Lisa Poole just said Allen's Landing. And you know what that means?
That's her guess.
Straight. No, that's not a guess. That means Lisa Poole
went to Google
right then at 7:47 in the morning. She went to Google. Lisa Poole didn't pull that out. She hadn't even had her second cup of coffee yet. Warren Bingham's getting a little wordy.
He's getting worked up today. So, by the way, that's why the stock market's going up, because they realize with all the fake money out there, it's easy money.
Yeah,
the dollar's going to crash and be worthless. Hence, the only thing that would be a value, hard assets, company stocks, real estate. Again, that's why the stock markets are going up.
By the way, Warren Bingham sells gold. If you need in these troubled times, reach out to him and William Devaney. Wasn't that the actor? He's like, I've got plenty of money, but a lot of mine is in gold.
And reverse mortgages.
I'm Tom Selleck. Hey, I wouldn't be here if this wasn't the way to go. Okay, Magnum. If I remember, you lived rent-free in somebody's garage, and now you're telling me about
and drove their Ferrari.
You piggybacked off their Ferrari. Now you're telling me how to make financial
and
decisions.
used your friend for his helicopter.
Yeah. Looking back, Magnum was a huge Democrat, spending other people's money. I used to love that show, though.
Oh, it was awesome.
Didn't you? It wasn't Magnum PI?
Yeah.
It was great.
I haven't watched the reboot. It's been around for a while, so it must be all right.
How's it going to be any good if it isn't Tom Selleck?
That's what I say. But
Tom Selleck was actually too good looking. He was kind of like Brad Pitt. Like, you couldn't take him serious. I saw Brad Pitt.
Even guys.
Yeah, I said, I want to look like Tom Selleck.
Grew mustache.
He had the greatest mustache.
Yeah. Even Bill Buckner tried that, except he forgot to shave his eyebrows when he grew that mustache.
When Magnum needed Rick was always there.
Came through. He was a little bit of the bumbling.
Lisa says she hasn't even had her first cup of coffee yet.
She used Alexa, I think.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's not even 8 o'clock. But you might already be
It's practically lunchtime.
Almost. You might be making your lunch plans already.
Lunchtime in Newfoundland, you might as well get to Uncle Mudd's barbecue. How about some brisket?
Ribs.
Sausage.
Chicken.
Turkey.
Ribs.
Yeah, man. Ribs. Pea salad, potato salad.
Fried sweet corn.
Those of you that listen every day, we talk so much about the side dishes, but that's really the best barbecue on the planet deserves the best side menu, and they've got it. And if you just tell them, throw in a couple of jalapenos, you know what they're going to say? Do you want sliced or do you want whole? Yeah. I mean, they've got both. They think of it all. Anything you would want to have at your barbecue picnic, they got it.
They got it all.
And picnics are back. I've had two. You know how many picnics I've had in the last 30 years? 2.
All since the shutdown, right?
No doubt. TLAT is so, it's like practically romantic. She's practical. Hey, let's just go to the park, put down some paper. We're not going to, by the way, the CDC says you can touch surfaces.
Yeah.
True story.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Warren says stop. We're making them hungry. It's only, it's only 5:50 on the West Coast.
But no kidding, Warren.
He's all ready for breakfast.
The brisket here, I don't know if you ever have what you would call good barbecue up there. Down here, we talk about the moist end, which is, the fattier end, and then you've got the lean end, which tends to be more dry. But
Cougar Country was the barbecue standard in Pullman.
I could be in the middle. Cougar Country, is that where all the old middle-aged women hung out? Come on in, have a glass of Chardonnay and a sausage wrap. Nothing like a sausage wrap and some Chardonnay. Well, anyway, Uncle Mutt's is the standard of barbecue in our community, and they're the standard of giving back. They, the Warriors weekend folks, all of that, there's so much. They do so much in our community. Great Barn Design, reach out to Cheryl for your next big party, 920-6803.
She'll make any event look good,
And
which makes you look good.
She won't charge you to talk to you.
No.
You need to reach out to Cheryl, 920-6803.
Cost-free consultations.
I've got some ideas about a Kinsey or a reunion or a wedding reception or a class reunion. She's going to do my funeral. It's not for free. She's going to be lots of pictures. People posing with me. I'll be in an urn, but you can put your arm around the urn. It'll probably be burnt orange.
It'll probably be burnt orange, and it'll probably be a Yeti cup.
Right. And at the end, just
Let's be honest.
put me in a bowl of chili,
We've just found a great new product for Yeti.
The Yeti
The
urn.
Yeti urn.
Keep Grandpa warm and dry in the Yeti urn.
Those lids don't just pop off when you drop them.
That's when you got to screw on.
Yeah.
You got to screw
So,
that on.
I mean,
I like it.
I think it'll work.
And you can put sponsorships on it. We're on to something here, folks. The Yeti urn.
Yep.
Grandpa, brought to you by Yeti.
Just don't put it in the cupboard with the rest of the Yetis.
Yeah, that chili's really good. Boy, it's spicy. What'd you use, Grandpa? Went services, Went electrical, Went plumbing. How about Went generators? It is storm season, folks. Get ready for that. If you don't have a home generator, you need one. Many of you will remember what it was like with Harvey when the electricity was off for a week and we were waiting. Like, why? Why is the power? I see the lines. Why is the power off? Went can take care of that for you. If you'd have bought a generator right after Hurricane Harvey 3 years ago, you would have paid for it at about, I don't know,
Now,
pennies on the day.
yeah.
Pennies a day you pay for it. Reach out to them. They also have solar panels that feed your own home grid, battery packs, backups, the ability to run AC and refrigerators at night off of solar power. Reach out to Went for that quote. You'll be glad you did.
Brother Man's here. We're going to get him in just a minute. I just wanted to saw a poll yesterday.
We can stay as long as we want
About
on Thursday.
40% of Americans say they will stop buying Chinese products or relying on Chinese products.
Where else are you going to get General Joe chicken?
Yeah, well,
I mean, what?
you can't get that in China.
Right, exactly. Sal, Joe, I don't know what it is.
Well, it's an American invention.
Why don't we do that?
But like, sir, they say that. But honestly, if 40% of Americans did that,
Oh,
the Chinese government would take notice. I just don't think it's going to happen. I mean, I've got an electric frying pan, right?
Right.
It's getting to a point where it needs to be replaced.
Ron Popeil. The Fryermatic.
Might have to,
You have to.
but
Made in,
China.
does Taiwan count?
No, Taiwan is its own country.
Okay, good. We'll work with
Yeah.
them.
But
They say Harrisburg. Harrisburg may have been
Yeah.
the name. And James Curtis says shh.
Well,
And
'cause James
Steve
Curtis
says
is-
no one's paying attention. There's a sub show going on in the comments section.
yeah, always is.
Yeah.
But I don't know where I would buy an electric skillet.
General
frying
Joe
pan.
Batwings,
Oh, there you
says
go.
Steve Kidder.
I don't know where you would buy, where I would be able to buy an electric skillet or frying pan without one that's made in China. I don't know if there are any made in the U.S. anymore.
I don't think there are.
I'd have to go back and try to dig the one out that my grandma had way back when that I think is probably under the stairs in my mom's basement.
Boy, you are young. Your grandmother had an electric skillet.
Yeah.
My grandmother had a cast iron skillet.
I think it was a cast iron electric skillet.
It's so good. I don't know why it is. And if anybody does know, feel free to tell me. There's Jake Dub. It says Wally's probably got one in the shed.
And you're probably right, J-Dub.
My question is, why is it that
Although he's only got one shed now in the backyard.
it's a he shed? Why is it that the real way to fry chicken is in a cast iron skillet? Because it is the way to really fry chicken. Does it just evenly distribute the heat?
Probably. And that seasoned cast iron just, yeah.
And the Dutch oven, when I opened the lid, I got it. So I bought it at a round top deal at an antique.
Okay.
deal.
So it's an old one.
It's old. But when I opened the lid, it's like whoever cooked in it last left whatever was in there. So the people decided it was trash. All I'm going to do, Brother Gary, is make me a little bed of coals.
Right.
I'm going to put that Dutch oven on those coals.
Okay.
Put a little water in there and a little Dove soap.
Ooh.
No, because I'm going to have to re-season the deal. And I'm going to lift all that off. And I'm going to get my little grinding wheel, my little wire brush.
Yep.
And I'm going to take all that rust off and I'm going to re-season that. And that is going to be a very
good one.
priceless
Look at that.
heirloom for the boys that they will someday go, is that chili? What did Dad leave in there?
Warren says his wife just gave him a Dutch oven.
Don't you hate it when they do that, Warren? I think Warren needs a top fan designation.
He does.
Even though we don't have it.
No, we can't control it.
I saw that on one of those COVID expose deals. It was actually done in Spanish, and I only understood about a third of what was being said. But the man and wife are both sitting in the bed. When you sit up with your back against the headboard, knees up, she's got a book on her lap. You can see her there. The covers are over their bodies. And the man kind of coughs on her. And she's in Spanish, because he coughed on her. And it's saying, hey, you got the COVID, quit coughing on her. So the second time he turns to her, he coughs on her again, and she's really giving him the business, So the third time he turns to her and acts like, and she goes under the covers, and he just leans to his left. And of course, it's all a laugh track. Yeah. It's all made up, and just the laugh track just falls out.
Yeah, no, of course.
Would you ever do that?
No,
I wouldn't either. No. I mean, I don't know. T-Lat keeps my life like I'm a newlywed. I mean, I am still very much a newlywed. We'll be married 3 years in September. I have to tell you though, I think I would get a hernia trying to toot in front of her. It just ain't gonna happen. And all of a sudden, like my abdomen just goes, boom, like my appendix comes out of my belly button. It just doesn't work. She has no problem and walks right by. Not kidding. She doesn't do that, folks. Seriously, I made that up. Dawn, I made that up, sweetheart. I'm joking.
That's when you know they love you.
Yeah.
They don't want you to have to experience that.
Yeah, well, exactly. I'm convinced that it never happens.
No, they don't.
Like I stay awake at night just to see if it just doesn't happen. Absolutely doesn't.
And if it does, there's a reasonable explanation. It's the dog.
The dog did it. Yeah. Look, she just said, T-Lat just came on the screen. Wow, in all caps, and immediately people start liking it and loving it. Thank you, Donnie. Hey, you're part of the show, babe. You're like, you're part of the show.
The walking farts. That only happens when it's grandma. According, wasn't that Eddie Murphy up the stairs or down the stairs?
If my father does that, he'll look at you and go, ha ha, self-propelled, jet propelled. That's what he says, jet propelled.
Classic.
Yeah.
When Brother Chow calls a burp a mouth fart.
What do you think Rodney Dangerfield's wife felt like? He's like, I bought a used car. Look in the back seat. I saw my wife's dress.
How tired of this material do you think she was?
Oh, he was so
she heard them all.
He just, because
over and over,
a billion times.
Because he wasn't particularly good looking and all that, his self-deprecating humor really, I mean, it was so, people felt, it's like, I feel sorry for you, Rodney. I don't blame Rod. Cheat on you too, you ugly mug. We have with us a man that needs no introduction. We have a
None.
man
None
with
will
us.
anyway.
Yeah. Steve Kidder says that wasn't wow, you're amazing.
Yeah,
That was wow. I can't believe you went there.
I can't believe that. We only think the highest of her, sir, and your wives both of them.
Spanning the globe. Brother G brings, look, he's got multiple pages.
Oh, man,
You can tell we're on the back end of the COVID situation because when this thing started, Brother Gary had no papers in his hand.
Oh, no.
He's
Now-
back to pre-COVID numbers.
Yeah, I just, hey, but I got, and I leave them all together. I just add on to them. That's all.
He's still amazingly.
Here's I'm
amazingly
gonna
crisp.
share
Amazingly crisp.
something with you. It's been 20 some odd years you and I have been doing stuff together in this town.
crazy.
When we started, hand me those papers for a second.
It's a true story. I know
This
it's a true
this
story.
is what brother has right now.
Look, folks. I'm holding it up.
Pages and pages.
Multiple pages.
Multiple
some
pages.
Typed, some,
Yep.
some
Handwritten.
gleaned off of an email.
But when brother and I started,
I know.
those pages he would be able to put them on a piece of paper
One piece
like
of paper.
this, one piece of paper. If he
Post-it
had to, both sides.
You can't read that anymore.
Well, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
It's I mean, he was the original conservationist when it came to paper, but now his eyesight can't quite handle
Well,
it.
his
That's the only sign of aging with Brother Gary is the eyes aren't what they used to be.
His curve is flattened, and now he uses a big chief pad and a crayon to do his notes.
I did that.
Yeah. Remember the big chief when you were a kid?
That's right. They had him in school back in our day. And then when we got to school,
Had the red
they still had him.
had the red cover and the Indian in the headdress.
Oh, loved it.
It's racist now. You can't do it.
No,
Can't do it.
we took the Indian maiden off.
Christina
the
Wise
Land
says,
O'Lakes butter.
"Wow, you are in trouble, Brent." Oh no, T-Lat knows this part of the show.
Yeah. Yeah, but you don't want to try too many times.
No, just every now and then toss it out
I
there.
wouldn't try that. Well, boy, let me give you a quick. When I was with Will Martin yesterday, we celebrated a 98-year-old veteran, World War II veteran, and Mr. Martin was there. I had Mr. Martin come out there. They gave a flag and they gave a certificate. We had Colonel Mike present a big one of the awards.
Don't you love Colonel Mike?
Love that.
Awesome.
And we were all there for Gus Cruz's father-in-law. Gus
Nice.
from, HEB on Rio Grande.
Yep.
So we're getting ready for the Memorial Day ceremony, which is Monday at 11 o'clock downtown. It's going to be a shortened version, but we have some guest speakers. You know this man, Judge Ben Zeller will be
Yeah.
there.
And social distance, folks.
And yes, sir,
Wear
we'll
your
do
mask
all
if you
that.
feel you need to.
We've got them.
Yep.
And I was in one last night with that bunch. Also, Colonel Mike Petros will be there speaking, and Congressman Mike Cloud.
Awesome.
Awesome. He can make it, he'll be there.
That's
And
awesome.
we'll be doing that again at 11 o'clock. We'll be emceeing that. Looking forward to that. And then the blood drive continues. One other event for the city. There's a few things that are popping up, flying, coming into Port Lake. The blood drive still going on down here through Saturday. South Texas Blood and Tissue Center. You can sign up over there. And, there's some events starting to pop up now. And to fly in. Some of these races, we're booking some in June and July. Things are happening. But I got some for you. Did y'all hear how much Michael Jordan's 1985 shoes went for the other day?
Did you hear that?
I did not hear that.
Air Jordan 1s.
Yeah, the previous record for a pair of shoes that were auctioned off.
Dorothy's red slippers, I'm guessing.
This is for sports events.
Oh, sports
I think
stuff,
this,
okay.
yeah, sports events. The highest was $437,000 for the Nike Moon shoes.
They were silver. I remember them.
You remember that?
Yep.
You remember that Nike Moon shoes? Michael Jordan's 1985 when he broke into the league. Rookie shoes, game-worn shoes went for, this is the record, $560,000 just the other day.
$560,000.
Air Jordans.
Wow.
You don't think the guy who had him waited until his documentary
Sure he
to
did.
pop that
Of
value
course
back
he did.
up?
He
Because-
probably funded the
This
documentary.
This week he sold right
Yeah.
after all that.
Yeah.
10
Smart.
episodes.
Yeah.
Smart man. So I wanted to give you that. Jim Harbaugh, Michigan coach. Michigan, he said, we'll play. We don't care if there's fans in the stands. We want to play no matter what. Harbaugh.
Harbaugh's on the hot seat. That's why.
Gene Smith, the AD at Ohio State, said that if they have to, they'll play anywhere from about 20,000 to 50,000 fans in their stadium. NCAA yesterday said that football, men's and women's basketball could resume
June 1st.
voluntary practices June 1st, but you get a lot of pushback. Although they did with the caveat that was sort of hidden at the bottom of most of the stories. I don't know where it was in their press release, but in most of the stories, there's that little, last line that nobody ever reads anymore.
Unless.
Well, if allowed by local
If allowed.
jurisdictions,
Did you
right?
know
So
the other day?
They're trying to throw it out there. They want to do something, but they don't. I got one
to
more.
bring
I
normalcy
did
back.
see a
But
deal
a
the
lot
other
of
day.
coaches saying,
They want to play.
well, but a lot are saying we're not going to do
Yeah,
this.
a lot are saying no. 'cause
Even
I'm
what's his
saying-
name in Oklahoma said, Riley,
Lincoln Riley.
Lincoln Riley said,
Oklahoma.
not
Not the
we're not doing this yet. It's not. We're not. He doesn't feel we're out of the water yet, so we're not going to do this yet. So
Texas, University of Texas in Austin has said they will begin or resume on campus school until Thanksgiving. And then the kid, because they expect there to be a resurge in the fall, they're telling the kids they won't come back and they'll do everything online after Thanksgiving. So the kids will. Well, no, they're saying they're going to be proactive and they're planning to start school, say in September, and go through Thanksgiving. And after the Thanksgiving break, the kids won't come back for the rest of the
well,
year.
there's only about 3 weeks at that point from Thanksgiving break to the end.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and Notre Dame said they're going to start classes in August 10th, I believe. And I think we talked about this yesterday. And they're going to end their semester at Thanksgiving. So they've shifted their entire semester by 3 weeks.
I'm hoping we get through the whole thing and they don't have their resurgence. But
Christina-
just in case.
Christina Wise says, how do you decide who gets tickets? Because the
Donors.
fans,
Yeah,
they're still going to be tailgating outside
for
the
sure.
stadium.
And they're going to want to get in. They're going to be upset when they can't get in.
Yeah, but
Well,
let's be honest. The same people that get the good seats
are
are
gonna
the
get
same people that are going to get the seats to the game. Your big donors and corporate
Right.
sponsors.
Correct. All right, let me give you an NHL.
As it should be.
As it should be. Real quickly, NHL rolling out a plan to have 24-team conference-based playoffs.
Yep.
We'll go right to the playoffs. They want to go right to the playoffs when we can get
If they did that, we'd have a lot less hockey. That'd be a great season
Yeah.
for me. Every year, just start with the playoffs. Just start with the playoffs.
24-team conference.
Everybody
to the playoffs.
Everybody gets like a little star on their jersey. Made the playoffs.
But well, and interestingly enough, because Calgary's mayor is such a moron, he said we're not doing any pro sports until the summer's over. Basically, Edmonton, our most rivaled city, 300 kilometers north. That's for the Canadians.
Right.
Keeping it metric. Right.
All right, yes, sir.
They put out a bid to the NHL. We've got the Rexall Center. We've got another sheet of ice right next door, which is NHL,
A
which is
sheet of ice.
NHL
Uh-huh.
size. They could host that entire thing on those two rinks because no fans are going to be allowed.
24 teams.
They could play 2 games simultaneously. They could get it all done.
I'd get me an ice pick and I'd be over there. I'd be right in front of the bench, just churning some homemade ice cream right there.
We had to throw one in for
Shaved ice.
And the last one,
Right.
baseball guidelines.
I appreciate you bringing that
I
for
did. I
me.
said, let me tell my boy right there.
See?
Playoffs, conference-based playoffs. And then baseball guidelines, here's one for you. We all love baseball, all 3 of us.
Sure.
But 67-page report tell the players what they can do. And a lot of the players, all those quarantine, you have to stay in a hotel, you can't have dip, you can't do this.
Can't
do that.
spit.
You can't spit, you got to be 3 feet. If you do something 3 times in a row, you're out.
You can't lick your fingers on the mound because if they hit the ball, they come up.
A lot of the players are not like it, man.
Sure.
But you can all go to HEB after the game and buy something.
Why don't they just all sign, the ones that want to play, sign a waiver saying, hey, we're going to play baseball? I do get stuff that, if Granke's on the mound and he's got the COVID, he throws a pitch, and after licking his fingers, and next thing you know,
They're not like it.
Gurriel's got it.
It's dry. Well, but the CDC yesterday said, hey, this thing ain't living on surfaces like we thought, so maybe it's not there.
And the bottom line, NBA, they say, has a better chance to start the season than baseball. Because baseball players are bought.
Wow. Baseball players are kind of spoiled,
There you go.
right?
There you go.
Brother man, we love having you come in. There's my great mother-in-law, Marty Stockbauer, doing well.
Good thing we ran late today so Marty could join us.
Yeah, thanks. Hey, thanks for waking up, Martina. Hope you guys have a great day, and we will talk to you mañana.
Bye, folks.
Good stuff, Brother Jimmy.
That's some good
Good stuff, man. That whole hockey guy. Just when I think you're going to stumble, maybe let us down, you always come through.
Gotta come through. We're back, man. We're getting closer to
Close.
our stuff. Not like we want it, but there's more stuff.
Yeah.
Hang on, I got to turn off YouTube.
Turn it off.
Turn off the YouTube.
Turn off the tube.
End the stream, end the stream.